Welcome to Share on Torah Anytime. I want to share with you an amazing story that a very close friend of mine told me. His father went through a crisis in his life where he lost everything. He lost his money, he lost his business, nearly lost his family. He fell into very dark places, and he went from being in a very high profile position to almost losing everything. Anyway, time went on, and there was a very strained relationship between this son and his father. And one day, his son was taking his father, they were driving somewhere, and they came to a gas station. So it was like a $60 bill to fill up this car. And his father starts fumbling and looking through his pockets, and he was looking for this card, that card. Finally he found some cash, and he ran and he paid the gas attendant for the car. So as they continued driving, he said, "Tati, why did you have to do that? I mean, Hashem has parnasa, he could have paid for it himself." He said, "Why do you make yourself crazy to pay for it?" So he said, "You know, from where I come from, we were never taught to say I love you. This is my way of telling you I love you." And they broke down in tears. And there's many times that we live with blockages between ourselves, our parents, our children, ourselves, and we just don't communicate effectively. But in reality, if we would go deep enough, we would find that we love our children, our parents love us, but there's disconnections, there's a lot of layers in between. These layers came for a reason. There's reasons why these layers developed, and usually the reason is because when you were a child, you had to protect yourself, and you developed certain habits which, for the mind of a child, was the only way you were able to protect yourself. That's why you have adults who are bullies. People who are cynical. Why are people cynical? They were children. They had no other method of self-defense besides becoming cynical. They went through hardships in life, and that was their way, and it served them a purpose. The problem is that we walk around with old shoes. We grow up as adults, and we're left wearing little shoes, little baby shoes that are constricting our feet and causing us blisters and causing us pain. But we're so used to it, and we don't even know there's a different world out there, that we just can't get rid of it. So the Hasidic masters, when they take us on the journey of going out of our own inner exodus, our own inner Mitzrayim, one of the keys is that Moshe Rabbeinu sees a sneh. He sees this burning bush, this metaphor of a burning bush, and he comes closer and he says, something doesn't make sense. It's not adding up. Fire, bush has to be consumed. It's not being consumed. What's going on over here? And then from the voice where Hashem communicates, and he says, "Sha'alne alecha me'el reglecha, ki amoka mesherata oimet sham admas kodeshi." Take those shoes off. Get those shoes off. Those shoes are old shoes. Sha'alne alecha me'el reglecha. You know what reglecha means? Reglecha means regilus. It means habits. Every person has habits that they formed in order to protect them. The key of life, one of the big secrets that we were never taught, is that you have to get rid of old habits in order to progress in life. You have to discover the world. You can't remain a little child standing in the corner in a self-defensive posture for the rest of your life. But you know how you have to do it? You have to understand that every regilus that you have, it has shoes. It has something that protects it. You have to first honor that shoe and say, "Wow, you've been a really good shoe. You protected me all these years, but now I'm going to take off my shoes from my regilus so that I can be able to change it. Otherwise, I'm trapped forever." And that's just a progress. It's something we have to go through in life. This is something that's never taught. This is such a great secret. You have to understand that it's the normal progression of life, that you're a child, you haven't developed all your skills yet, you will develop defense mechanisms in order to get along, in order to get what you want. And that's fine, that's okay. You didn't know anything else. Just like a baby yells and screams when it needs to eat, that's fine. The problem is that you can't keep on yelling and screaming. It's okay for a 2-year-old child to tantrum. It's not okay for a 30-year-old adult to still have a child that's tantruming. So part of life is you just have to grow up. So, this pattern of having nalayim, having shoes that keep us stuck in habits, or it just keeps us stuck in addictions, it keeps us stuck in bad patterns, it keeps us stuck in crooked ways of thinking. It's just something that we got to do in order to free ourselves from our exodus. The Chassidic Mass is taught that, Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Paro, he confronts him, and he said, "Hey, what's up with these, with taking away the straw from the Jews?" And Paro says, "Nirpim atem, nirpim al kein atem oimnim neilcho nizbech al Hashem." He says, "Hey, you're slacking off. That's why you're coming to say, let's bring sacrifices to Hashem." You know how that plays out in our life? We're convinced in our life that, where Hashem is? There. Where's there? In Besmedrish, by davening, in Tehillim, but in my business, in my computer, in my relationship with my spouse, with my children, with the moistest. You know how corrupt the moistest are? Hashem's not there. You know how messed up? Not there. So we have certain zones where we believe Hashem is. Like, we were once talking about it, that once upon a time, when you walked into a Besmedrish, there weren't too many Svarim in Besmedrish. Once upon a time, Reb Chaim Volozhin writes that he walked himself into the Besmedrish from the Chassidim, and he saw that they didn't even have a Shas Shalom. They didn't even have a whole Shas. They had Sifrei Yira L'Roiv. They had a lot of Svarim, they didn't have a Shas. A Shas Shalom was a huge big deal. Today you go into Besmedrish, Shas Shalom. You have a whole Oitzer. Svarim once upon a time was a huge big thing. You walked into a shul, you walked into a Besmedrish. Where was Hashem? Hashem wasn't in the books. Hashem is all over the place. Today we take Hashem, we pack him into Svarim, we print him, we print God into books, and then today you have like a Svarim room. So you stack up Hashem against the walls, you print him into, you bind them into a book, you stuff them up against the wall, and if you have a Svarim room, you could even lock the door and you keep Hashem safe. But the Mishnah says, one of the interesting Mishnahs that I'm sure you've wondered about, is that it says, if somebody's learning, he goes out in the street, and then he's mafsik mi Mishnah, and he sees, and he says, ma yofa nir zeh, ma no ilan zeh. Look how beautiful this field is. Look how nice it's plowed. Look at this tree. Wow, look at those branches, those beautiful fruits coming down. Mischai v'nafshay. And you say, seriously, what do you mean? He's got to get killed? All he said is that Hashem's world is beautiful and there's Gaal trees. What's the big deal? So in Slalom they used to say, Attach Mischai v'nafshay means that it obligates your soul. When a person sees a beautiful world, he says, wow, look at the beautiful world Hashem created and it's Mischai of you. But I once heard a Gaval Pshat, unbelievable Torah, that all the problems begin when we believe that Hashem was stuffed into a book. Rav Tzadok, Sfasemis brings it that he said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kosev Sefer, God wrote a book. What's the book Hashem wrote? The world. The world is Hashem's book. And the Torah is an elucidation, it's an explanation of Hashem's Bria. So here's the secret. Now come back into the Mishnah and let your mind discover a brand new way of seeing everything. If somebody's walking on the street, and you're making a half-stick between what you're learning and between the world around you, what are you, nuts? Seriously? You didn't get that the beautiful tree, that's what you're learning. When you're learning Gemara, you're learning Torah, you're learning Chassidus, you're learning Musar, you're learning beautiful trees. When you see a beautiful tree, that's Hashem's Sefer. There's nothing in the world that's not Hashem. And that's what Paro was telling Moshe Rabbeinu. He said, Nirpim atem nirpim. You're slacking off in your life. you're slacking off, you're trying to avoid whatever's going on in your life, and you're thinking that, oh, I'm going to run away from what's happening in my life because Hashem's not in my life. I'm going to bring sacrifices of Hashem. I'll go learn, I'll go daven, I'll do whatever I could just to get out of my reality now. You know what the secret is? Go serve me. Give away your tevuna. 7 is the lashon of tevuna. Give away your brains. Get rid of your brain. Your mind is just getting in the way. Your brain is like a valve tool that Hashem gave you. It wasn't meant to overthink, and it wasn't meant to think your way out of problems because you can't. The only solution you're ever going to get out is when you're going to remove your shoes. You're going to get rid of those protective shoes that served you very well when you were a child, and you're going to be vulnerable with your regilas on the ground, and then you're going to ask Hashem, Ma Shimcha, Ma Shimcha, what's your name? Moshe Rabbeinu said, what's your name, God? You know what God said? You know what my name is? He said, Eke Asher Eke. I am that which I am. The Chassidic Master's taught, you know what it means? I am what I am. It means, Hashem said, I am wherever you will think about me. That's where I am. I am wherever you're going to find me. Eke I shall be to those that think I am. Whatever a person thinks, that's where he finds, just like today in politics, like in the world of the elections right now. You have huge elections going on. You ask people, so tell me, who won the elections? So you have this guy says Trump won. It was fraud. Dominion machines, Georgia, fraud. And he'll bring you 1,000 proofs. And then you try to dispute the proofs. You say, hey, all these proofs were debunked. You can't debunk it. Why can't you debunk it? Because if in his mind he has a reason to think that Trump is the most amazing guy in the world, he's going to find ways to rationalize, justify, and find proof. He was right. If you find a guy who thinks Trump was a rotten president, then you say, but it doesn't make any sense, the numbers don't make sense, the statistics don't make sense, it can't be. Bestimmt nicht. He says he's a fanatic, a conspiracy theorist. Who is right? The answer is, I don't know. I just know that whatever you think is right, you're going to find proof to find that you're right. Eke Asher Eke. Hashem says, I find myself wherever you will search for me. And that's the ultimate secret of living the Gewalt life. To go out of Exodus, to go out of Mitzrayim, you're going to find yourself in Mitzrayim. You're going to find yourself in situations where you're not going to like your reality. You're not going to like the world you're living in. You're going to want to run away. You're going to try to escape. Hopefully, you're going to find the burning bush. You're going to find things in the world that don't add up. And then you're going to turn to Hashem and you're going to say, Hashem, how do I get my hands on you? How do I call you? Ma Shimcha, what's your name? And Hashem will tell you, I will be when you turn to me. However, I need you to know that whatever I created for you, the place that you are standing is holy ground. The space that you were created, your situations in life is holy. Now you have to learn, and you have to daven, you have to pray to me, you have to search for me, you have to learn wisdom from me, in order that when you go back to your family and to your life, you should find me there. Ultimately, is the oitze bagrub into the eigene brick. Ultimately, the treasure is buried under your own oven. That's the ultimate game. The game is not to find Hashem when you're davening and not to find Hashem when you're learning. The game is that through davening and learning, you should find Hashem to the place where you were running away from. And there you should be shalna alechem al reglechem and discover that Hamokim Hashem Yom Shom. That is where I was meant to be. There was no mistakes. It was exactly so. Thank you, Hashem, for creating for me the life that you wanted me to have, and to find you there today.